Guys, end of week two. Hope you are all well. I saw quite a few of you this week, be it at some of the classes or early this morning for Fit and Fridays. Obviously, this is the first little clip of many. I hope moving forward and ensuring that I'm creating I suppose a sort of support network for yourself as we move through the 12-week BIOAGE challenge. Guys, I just wanted to quickly check in with you and just to see where you're at when it comes to the outcomes of the goals that you've set yourself over the period of the last 2 weeks. I sent you guys out an email. I think it was early last week, looking over and exploring your goals upon receiving your BIOAGE reports. There were a couple of key points that we did mention. We didn't really go over in much detail in our seminar due to time, but I did send you out that email, and I wanted you to consider thinking through your goals a little more clearly. When it comes to goal setting, I think the difference between stating a goal consciously and actually achieving a goal is actually gathering a little bit more information and actually thinking through the outcomes in a way that I'll briefly go through with you, which I'm sure you already know. When we think about goal setting, as I mentioned, one of the first things to consider is state your goal. You must state your goal positively. A lot of the time over the years of me being in industry for, I suppose, 14 years, one of the questions that I ask is, a simple question is, what do you want? And I would suggest that 9 times out of 10, and I don't think I'm lying, 9 times out of 10, the individual would state to me, or my client would state to me, what it is that they don't want. So one thing that I want you to consider and apply and focus on is state your goals positively. Be really solution focused. So think about possibility versus, I suppose, think about what it is you don't want. So state versus what you want versus what you don't want. So if I was to ask you, so what's one outcome do you want to achieve as part of the BIOAGE challenge? You'll say, well, I don't want my BIOAGE to get any lower, or I don't want my BIOAGE, to get any higher. Well, that's not really telling me what you want. That's telling me what you don't want. So you might say, well, I want to improve my key BIOAGE areas and improve my BIOAGE by 2 to 3 years. It is being, I suppose, solution focused and a little bit specific there, but definitely stay in the positive. And make sure when you think about your goal, consider, with that example, if you're 2 years younger with your compared to your biological or chronological age, what would be the value of that? What would be the purpose? What would be the intention? So really make sure that the goal that you set for yourself is stated positively, okay, and it's solution focused, and it's also presented or placed at times in the future as well. When it comes to being specific, I mentioned it to you guys before. You've really got to be very specific when it comes to your outcomes, or when it comes to your goals. I didn't mention before, but you might want to break your goals down into component parts. So there might be a goal around your nutrition, using either the rapid weight loss plan or one of the maintenance plans. It could be a goal around your physical activity, and it could be a goal around your mental and emotional wellness, and it could be as simple as making time for meditation or just time for thinking and brain dumping, whatever it might be. But make sure you're being really specific. So when I say really specific, so it might be, you don't want to be quite vague. So, I will, do the identified sessions Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll do Fit and Fridays on Friday mornings, and do one supplementary run/walk on a Monday and a Wednesday. That's what I talk about in regards to being specific. When it comes to, a third consideration is making sure that with your goals that you have meaning behind the goals that you set. So if you were to lose 5 kilos, well, what's the meaning behind that? What's the meaning, and how are you going to And what does it really mean to you? And with that meaning, how are you going to measure this level of success? So really establish the meaning and think about a strategy around measuring. I mentioned this before around goals in our seminar, is that your unconscious mind, the part of your mind that dictates, I suppose, the direction that you take in your life, provided there's the correct communication between your conscious and unconscious mind, is that your unconscious mind knows no different between a positive and a negative. So, when you're stating your goal, make sure that, as I said before, that you are focusing on what you want. But the reason why I'm drawing this to as an example is state your goal as if now. So state your goal as if you've already got it. So for example, 2 examples, I want to run, or I will run 5 kilometers non-stop. Another way to state your goal is, I run 5 kilometers non-stop. Your unconscious mind knows no different between whether you run 5 kilometers non-stop or whether you haven't. The sheer fact of the matter that you're setting an outcome and goal based on stating that you actually can run 5 kilometers really sets yourself up for a significant likelihood or chances of success in achieving that goal. So state your goal as if now, as if you've already got it. Do me a favour, will you? Make sure that with your goals, they're very, very real to you. They've got to be real to you. You've got to know the intention. You've got to know the purpose around you setting these goals. What's the real value of you achieving these goals, or this particular goal, or this specific goal? And make sure that the goal is only reliant on you. You're the individual that has full control around achieving this goal or this outcome. That's very, very important, because if you have other people that have control of these goals, okay, the likelihood you're going to achieve the goal is going to be very, very challenging, because it's basically outside of your control. A well-formed outcome are outcomes that are based within your control. So you need to consider, when you think about your goals, what are the things you can control and what are the things that you can't control. And this is another good strategy in setting out, I suppose, goals that are sort of well thought through. You've really got to think about making sure you cement a time to these goals. So you might have some mini goals along the way. So we've only got 10 weeks left of the BIOAGE challenge, but you might have some mini milestones over the next 2 weeks, and it could purely be around group fitness participation, or just sticking to or working with or embedding the rituals around the rapid weight loss, the rapid results plan for men or women, whichever one you take or whichever sex you are. Really consider putting a time on it. So you might have your 12-week goal, but maybe you have some smaller micro goals along the way, which helps, I suppose, solidify momentum and create that impetus for action, and just to be, allow you to be accountable to no one else but yourself, and ensure that you are achieving the outcomes you want to set out to achieve and get the results that you do want to get when I am testing you, or when I do test you in 10 weeks' time. Guys, I hope these little tips were helpful. This is just backing up from the email that I'd sent last week. If you have any questions or any concerns, you always know you can catch me on my email, dean@melbournecorporatehealth.com.au. Remember, you've got that booklet and website that outlines all the classes that are available to you, including Friday mornings, Fit and Fridays, and our Tuesday morning 6:30 a.m. Deanified session to get the session out of the way in the morning. It's quite a short session. It's quite intense, but you get big bang for your buck in a shorter period of time. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great weekend.